So I'm gonna skip over the pleasantries because right now I'm not feeling too pleasant, especially when I go to address this. So we had the passing of the late Kevin Samuels, who was an influencer to basically address women and some of the, how should I say, unrealistic, so to speak, standards that they were seeking. Um, Trying to point out that they had to look at themselves and how they value themselves, how they had to acknowledge their worth, and pretty much readjust their standards to what is more realistic. And that type of criticism, some didn't agree with, some actually didn't like it, some actually was basically angered by it. And for those very reasons, as I've have taken notice looking at other content creators covering his death, to see the responses of these particular women celebrating his death because of the criticism that they got or because they didn't agree with him. Now, I did a video with a different content setting on two individuals who are content creators who I follow. Um, One who are more so value their opinions and their standpoints because they come from a place where the topics in which they address and approach and the manner in which they attack certain subject matter is done with balance, whereas the other is done with rhetoric. And even though there is some content that I do agree with this other content creator, if the day came where where this individual was to pass, okay? Just because I didn't agree with this individual's content, I would not be celebrating this person's death because we disagreed or I disagreed with what they had to say on particular subject matters. They have a right to state what the hell it is that they state, as I have the right to disagree with what it is that they put out. Okay? But because we disagree doesn't mean that I'm going to dehumanize that person, that I'm going to take pleasure in their passing. Because there comes a time when we have to look at ourselves as adults and act as such. Be mature about things. To understand this man has a family. If that individual was to pass, they would be in mourning. And the last thing that they would need to sit there is go to their phones and see people celebrating this individual's death just because you had those that disagree with this individual. Sometimes you got to put your personal bullshit aside and respect I didn't follow Kevin Samuels religiously. I saw a good number of his content, but for me it was redundant, repetitive, you know. Um, but hey, that was his thing, you know. He addressed women. He was taking it to a level where men had a voice and to speak out against some of the things that needed to be addressed, whereas you only heard the women's side of where they were coming from when they painted a picture of men generally because of their choices, because of their personal experiences. And when it came to talking about black men, it's what I was talking about in previous videos when I was using him as a topic of discussion to point out the differences between black women who were of value, who were of, I can't say were, are of value and are of worth, versus those that just are a lost cause. Decide to entertain being a stereotype. Decide to jump on the bandwagon of nonsense and bullshit. Don't want to be a person of value, but want to be respected as if they were of such, while being disrespectful to the person that they feel that they were entitled to. If that makes sense. Me being a man, I know where I may fall short and who I know that I want to be good for. I can recognize and acknowledge that and accept it because I understand. And that's the problem when people who receive this criticism that's constructive, they're quick to want to respond because they're emotionally invested. So they're easily triggered. So you say something that you know struck a nerve because you know that's part of a characteristic flaw that has been identified and attached to them. Now it's like they're in defense mode. They can't take it. So they gotta lash out. How can you be a better person if you can't accept your flaws? Better yet, how can you be a person to be, in a sense, mature if you can't accept criticism, especially if it's criticism to help you grow beyond a stagnated point in which you find yourself making the same stupid, repetitive decisions and choices, especially in regards to who you choose to get involved with. Meanwhile, you becoming this person who is bitter, angry, resentful, vindictive. And then the next person that comes along that has the potential to be who you are looking for, you disperse all that toxic energy and bullshit onto them. Because at that point, you're already damaged and fucked, especially in the head. That's why for me, personally, like my son's mother and I haven't, my son is 18 going on 19 months now. I haven't been with anybody within those 19 months. One, because I have a responsibility to my son. Second, I don't like jumping in and out of relationships. And then I have to take a step back and say, damn, I need to be better at the choices that I make and who I choose to get involved with. Because I'm not getting any younger. I'm tired of investing my time with people who aren't sharing that same energy and respecting the time given and being respectful, or bringing something to the table. I don't care. I don't care if it's whether it's financial, being trustworthy. I don't want to say loyal, but of course, like not going outside a relationship. Um, if you're at home, like make sure the house is clean if you're not working or something, or taking care of the child that we have. I mean, something's better than just sitting on your ass, just being on the phone day in and day out, and that's all you got to offer. And there's no communication. That's just a characteristic of what I see more so in relationships than me growing up seeing how my parents interacted with each other, because they actually interacted with each other. They didn't ignore each other. There's too many distractions, and that's the reason why the communication level is just flawed at this point. I feel we're at a point where we are very much disconnected. Um, Very much disconnected that we have so many issues to tackle that how can we even fathom reconnecting? And our interactions is just that. I mean, I I think that the only time, and it's sad to say really, that when you go to work and say that they have the policy where you cannot be on your phone because you need to focus on the job at hand. You can't just be doing a job and because number one, the quality of the work and the work itself is not getting done. Um, you're not interacting with, especially if you're dealing with clients. How are they gonna take you seriously if you're constantly not being attentive to them and what they're requesting and what they want if you're so if that's problematic on the job, how is it not problematic in a relationship? I know when I did videos before, again, this is circling back to when I referenced some of the things that Kevin Samuels pointed out. And I believe it was at the time when I was talking about how they want to petition to cancel him. Um, I was looking at the demographics of the particular women, as I've pointed and stated before, because you didn't like what he was saying. Okay, agree to disagree. Move on. But obviously, he affected you in a way that you had to acknowledge what he was saying. And because you disliked it because it rubs you the wrong way, maybe it was because it rubbed you the wrong way that you needed to take a step back and self-reflect. But some people can't do that because they are so arrogant, so stuck in their ways. This is who I am. If you don't like accept me for who I am. Who wants to be with that? Because the same people that say, this is who I am. If you don't accept me for who I am, but you can't accept other people for who they are. Your way or the highway. And trust me, I've been in a few relationships where I've dealt with females that were exactly like that. It had to be their way or bye. Wanted to make it so I didn't have a voice. Wanted to be controlling. Had a narcissistic attitude. And they think that's only a characteristic trait of men. But they'll say, oh, I'm a strong woman. This is what makes me strong. I don't take no shit. No, but it makes you full of shit. Because when you start developing toxic traits, who wants to sit there and respect you when you can't respect other people? See, me, I don't tell a woman how to dress. I don't tell a woman when to speak. I don't tell a woman to not have their own thoughts or opinions and stuff like that. When I'm involved with somebody, I'm their partner. I'm not their parent and I'm not their father. As they are not my parent and they're not my mother. When we join forces equally. We're on an even heel. But I just want to address this. Pretty much anything I say further is just going to be repeating what other content creators have already said, so there's no need for me to say much more at this particular point. But I just do want to say that, with it being said, that it is very appalling and disturbing and disgusting at the same time that you have these women celebrating the death of Kevin Samuels. Like, where, I mean, where's the empathy? Where's the compassion? Where's the humanity? But I get it. We are a society that is being so desensitized that not giving a fuck is the status quo currently. The zero fucks given is the cliche that we rally behind. Yep. The deterioration, the deteriorating part of our society is just from little trivial shit that just grows like a cancer. And what people say, oh, it's not such a big deal. Why are you sitting there harping on that? Yeah, it's not a big deal. It may seem trivial until it becomes a big deal. And until it becomes a bigger problem than it just being. But anyway, that's all I got for today. Well, maybe. Until next time, until next video, please tell me what you think. Leave a comment in the comment section. Please hit that like button, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I wish y'all well, and happy Mother's Day. Peace.